good day. It's been a while since I made a video, and you know the videos that I make are made for junkies like us. The pros will not really need my advice. Okay, so I've said that for the nth time. So what do I want to tackle this time? Okay, uh, I made a video about this gear matter. Of course, my stand there is of course it doesn't matter, what gear you use. Okay, so now I think I want to make a video to help the beginners, because as a beginner, of course, all of us are once upon a time beginners. So when I was a beginner, that concept of does gear matter and the gear doesn't matter, it took a while for me to reconcile that in my head, because of course you have to admit, uh, we have used one way or the other, we have used these high-end equipment, and it seems that we really sound better. We really sound better compared to our usual gear. But I don't know. I don't know if this happened to you. Once upon a time, I thought my gear was crappy. Okay, so I'm having a hard time adjusting my sound, and I was thinking, maybe I need to upgrade my gear. Okay, then all of a sudden, this guy comes around and plays my gear, and it sounds different. It sounds good. So I asked him, "What did you do? What did you do to make my bass sound better?" And he said, "Nothing. I did not touch anything." But it really sounded good. That guy sounded better than me. Okay, so that made me think that maybe it's something about his technique, how he bucks the strings, or maybe the way he understands the bass. Maybe I think that's the issue. Okay, so there's this credo that the experts are giving us beginning bassists, that we must focus on our technique and we must know our instruments. Okay, so one tip that I got when I was still beginning at playing the bass is that I need to know my instrument. So I have to play around with it, and what do you call this? Know its strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so now I have played a considerable number of basses, and I hold that tip true. There are some bass guitars that actually sound more mid-rangey than the others. Some sound thin, some sound muddy when you turn up the volume. So every bass is different. So it just boils down on how well do you know them. Okay? So I will demonstrate using two bass guitars that I have right now. So maybe your bass is similar to my basses, okay, but I believe it applies to every other bass. Okay, so I hope that this one is of help to you guys. Okay. Straight what I mean. Okay, so I will be using this Japan-made J-type, jazz-type bass, okay, with a high mass bridge, and again, this one is passive. So why are we using a passive bass? Okay, because the passive bass will actually tell you the natural sound of your bass. Okay, so the natural sound of the woods. Okay, and how the pickups will actually pick up your sound. Okay, so here, to be honest, I don't know the body. I don't know, but from what I have researched, probably this one is alder, and this one, well, I'm assuming that this one is the standard maple neck with a rosewood fingerboard. Okay, so excuse me. So this one I will be demonstrating using both pickups on and the tone way up. Okay, so Now you have to stay in the passive mode because this way you will really know your bass. Okay, so this bass, as I played around with it more, I started to know it more. Okay, so this one has a boomy bass sound. I don't know if you'll notice that the honky. Okay. By the way, I'm using round wounds. Okay, pro steels. So it has a natural punchy sound. Okay. Okay. So I have to test it with slap bass also because I play slap bass. Okay. In slap bass, what I test is the pop. Okay, so that pop has a good treble to it. I mean, it's not that when it will shock you. Okay, so it's good for my technique. Okay, so the bass is all right, and the treble is fine. Suits my taste. Okay, so why did I emphasize that? So if your bass is boomy, thick naturally in your bass, you don't want to playing around too much with the bass. Okay, let me demonstrate that. So what I just did is I boosted the bass. So look at hear how it sounds. Okay. It's muddy. Okay, so why did it become muddy? Because it's already bassy. Then you add more bass. Okay, so you have to be careful in adding bass to that. Okay, so let me just bring that back to the flat setting. The same goes with treble. Okay, so look at that. So the bass now is under control. Now you check the treble. Okay, so check this out. I will boost the treble a bit. Listen to this one. See? Okay, let me bring that back again to flat. Did you hear that sharp trebly sound? That can actually give you a headache, okay? Just as Marcus Miller said. So since your bass is naturally a boomy, this one is boomy in the bass, and then the treble in the slap pop, okay, is actually sharp. So I have to be careful in tweaking the treble and the bass. Okay, so maybe I could just add a little. Okay, maybe in this video I will add a diagram on how I understand. Okay, I'm no sound engineer, but I will try to explain it. I mean the frequencies, the bass, the mid, and the treble. Okay, so there. So when I am playing and I want to tweak my sound using the EQ, I have to keep in mind that this bass has a boomy bass and a bit sharp treble in the pop. So you have to be careful. I don't want to mess around with the treble so much in the bass. Okay, but if your bass actually is mid-rangey, the one that has a crunchy sound when you pluck it, okay, so you might want to add a little more bass, okay, and not much of the middle anymore. Okay, so again, just as experts say, dial using your ears, not your eyes. Okay, so you have to adjust according to what you hear. Okay, if the sound is bassy, don't mess around with the bass too much. Okay, so you have to stay for a while in passive mode because again that will really determine your sound. Because if you are enjoying too much, nothing wrong with enjoying using the active pickups or the active circuits where you have the 3-band EQ or maybe a 2-band EQ, but the passive mode will really give you a better understanding on how you sound. Okay, because the preamps will just make your sound louder. So if you sound crappy in the passive mode, the active electronics will just amplify your ugly sound. Okay, so be careful. I mean, that already happened to me. So I just had to go back and know my bass. Okay, and on the passive mode also, you will know that your bassline technique on how you will make make the sounds come out. Okay, I'm trying to get that tight thump versus this one. See the difference from this one to this one? See, technique will really matter. Okay, but just by adjusting my thumping technique, the sound became tighter or grittier. Okay, so you did not dial in more of that drive circuit in your maybe your preamp. Okay, so you have to know your bass, and based on what you know on your bass, adjust accordingly, dial using your ears. Okay, so my settings for this bass are different from yours. Okay, your bass will sound different than my bass, so you have to know your bass. Okay, you have to know your bass, and based on your knowledge, that will determine how good you will sound eventually. Okay, work on your technique, work on your technique theory. Okay, listen to a lot of records so that you will have an idea of the myriad of sounds that you can actually do with your bass. Okay, so hopefully you've learned from this one. So I guess I will show the diagrams somewhere in this video. Okay, so that this video will be extra long. Okay, have a nice day.